question about Blake Lively. Did you say that there's an appeal that you can't appeal until the final judgment, right? So Baldoni's not going to appeal until
he hasn't appealed yet, but he did disclose in a new filing, I believe, in his case with the New York Times, in the most recent court document that came out at the end of last week, over the weekend. I think it was like Thursday or Friday. They said that they plan to appeal, that is what they're planning to do. That's why they just have
Does
to
that
wait
mean they're planning to lose? If you're planning to appeal, then that means you're planning to lose.
They're planning to appeal his defamation. Remember, the defamation case got thrown out, his counter lawsuit. That's what they're appealing.
Yeah, and then they gave him an option to amend the complaint, and they said, we're not going to amend the complaint, whatever, we're just going to let it go. Or at least people thought it was, they were letting it go.
The amendment, if they chose to amend, it was for the claims that the judge was allowing to move forward, which were like the extortion claims. I don't remember which. They were like the smaller claims that really weren't significant. Yeah. They were going to, if they could amend, they would have amended to provide evidence to further support those claims, but not the defamation piece. So the defamation piece is what he's planning to appeal, is so that he could still, I guess, bring forward that defamation case. I think now that they have more evidence, because his case was dismissed before we went into discovery and before depositions. So now that they have all of the text messages and emails with Sony and Taylor and all of that, they can, I'm assuming, use that to prove malice and prove that she was maliciously trying to entrap him or, defame him in some way. And I mean, I don't know. I thought the judge was pretty clear that her case, or that his case, got tossed because she has litigation privilege. But I don't know if them being able to prove malice now with the messages that they have, if that could then change things.
Well, I mean, his case is a whole lot stronger since all of this discovery.
Yeah, now he actually has evidence to prove a case. It's just whether or not an appellate judge is going to grant him that opportunity to revisit a defamation case.
I think he's going to win across the board, and I don't think it's going to matter. And then he's going to have to decide, okay, now do I want to, go on the offense like, Karen Reed, in the Karen Reed trial, she was acquitted, and then she has to deal with the civil case that's happening now, but then she filed her own civil case. I was so excited by that. I was like, way to go. Fight. Nothing says innocent to me more than, oh yeah, now I'm going on offense for what you did to me. But in this case, I think Baldoni just wants his career back. I think he loves this business so much. He went after this project, especially with Colleen Hoover. It took him a long time. He beat out like 6 other people to get the IP of this book. He just wants to be in this business. He's a nerd for it. Like, this is his passion. And I think he just wants his career back. And I think he wins and never has to appeal anything. He just,
Well, no, I think he will still have to appeal, because part of her case, since his case got dismissed, she's fighting him to pay her legal fees because his case was dismissed. And so that's the dispute that they're currently in, is he going to have to be responsible for paying her legal fees? So I think part of him appealing the judge throwing out his defamation case will also be him trying to make sure that she doesn't get any fees from him. Yeah.
Then I understood. Then I agree with that, because
otherwise, if the judge says, "Oh yeah, his case got thrown out, and you have to pay for her legal fees because this wasn't a legitimate lawsuit," then that's a huge loss for him, because he'll have to pay her all that money.
No, Queen, Ryan's paying your legal fees, Queen. No.
Yep.
Nope. Absolutely no. Fascinating, but don't you think overall, like since discovery and since these texts between, what do you think are what would you say are the elements that have come out in discovery that are most powerful for Baldoni or detrimental for Blake?
I think her text messages and emails with like Matt Damon and Taylor Swift, because it does show his narrative of being like, she was using her Hollywood friends to take control of the film. Therefore, she doesn't have, she's not this weak actress that had no say and no power on the set of the film, because she's clearly controlling all of this. And this was happening before we even stepped foot onto the set of It Ends With Us. Like, the Taylor text messages are pre-production, before they even filmed a single scene, because a lot of people are like, well, in defense of Taylor, they're like, well, Taylor was just being a good friend. And But Taylor isn't just being a good friend, because this was before they even were on the set of It Ends With Us, where this alleged harassment was taking place. At this point, the fat shaming hadn't even come out yet when Taylor sat in that meeting and helped Blake take over the script rewrites. So the timeline doesn't add up of Taylor just being a good friend who was trying to help her against this guy that was harassing her, because at that point, there was zero harassment that had happened.
Yeah. It answers the question very simply. Like what you said in the beginning there with the Matt Damon text, and she and Ryan fanning out. I'll take Matt Damon, you take Ben Affleck, and then I'll take Bradley Cooper, and like that does not show a. When you think SH, you think some cheesy director cornering some young starlet and she's defenseless.
Yeah,
she's so clearly the bully in the situation when she's marshaling Matt Damon. And Matt Damon, by the way, Matt Damon and Ben Affleck, they come out just fine. They're fine. I mean, Matt Damon did what any friend would do, or like friend of Ryan's, like, yeah, sure. I'll take a look at your cut of the film. I'll do what I can, with Sony. You want me to put in a good word? I'll do what I can. That's what a friend, he wasn't like, let's take this guy out. He's clearly above it. And Ben Affleck is clearly above it.
Yeah.
Of course, I'm surprised that Ryan didn't say, why don't I talk to Ben and you talk to Matt? Because I think the history between Blake and Ben is like, Ryan's but a jealous guy, right?
We're seeing how much power they had on this set, right? We're seeing that she's taking over the edit. She's winning the edit. So it's like you're seeing that they have control, Blake and Ryan. So it completely obliterates her narrative that she was just an actress that was being taken advantage of by the director, because they had the power to take over the edit. They had the power to keep him out of the premiere. So why didn't you have the power to have him pulled from the project early on? You're Ryan Reynolds. You could have called up WME and Sony and had this squashed a long time ago, but you didn't. You chose creative influence over protection from harassment, or protection from this harasser, this alleged, dude that was taking advantage of your wife. But your priority was to make sure that she got to control the edit of the film rather than to have him removed from the set.
Yeah.
Because it just, and I think the Sony emails are bad in terms of her retaliation claims, because they're literally saying her promoting her Betty Boos, like it's epic level stupid, and she's a terrorist on set. Like all of these things that they were saying about her completely fractures her case of a smear campaign, which they still haven't been able to provide any evidence for of a smear campaign.
No, unfortunately, it's like Roy Cohn, the guy that advised Donald Trump. Roy Cohn always said that watch out for Trump. You'll always know what Trump's doing, because he he accuses people for things that he himself is guilty of. It's an amazing. This is what Blake Lively's doing. She's accusing, she's accusing Baldoni for things that she's guilty of. It's like it's the ultimate projection. It's mirroring.
Yeah. And then you even see like how she was clearly grooming like Isabella, right? Where Isabella had one relationship with Justin Baldoni, and then suddenly it completely changes and she's offended by eating cookie dough in the kitchen. Like it's just crazy how you can see she was influencing so many people. And this was like a well thought out plan that she had been, I don't think the plan was ever to sue him, but I think the plan was always to seed people against him. And that's just abundantly clear.